Welcome to the Self-Concept Bestie podcast. I'm your host, Laura. I've been reflecting a lot recently. Really, and a lot on actually my podcast. And I remember when I was listening to a podcast by Dr. Chatterjee. And I remember him saying, he was just in his flat and he got his mic out and he thought nobody might ever listen to this. And it made me realise recently, why do I record my podcast? Why do I do it? And I feel like the reasons for starting the podcast have changed over, it's almost grew with me, I would say. And I'm wanting to speak about that. And I think this is more now like just a personal journal for me, my life, and how it can maybe help other people. Because I'm sitting here right now, by the way, 10 to 11 at night, because when I was falling asleep, I just started to realise what it was I was speaking about. So instead of waiting until tomorrow to record that, I just thought, why am I not going to just do it just now? The idea's there. I was almost having the conversation in my head. I'm like, why am I not just recording this? And I think that's it. It's out listening to that intuition now a lot more clearer. And when I started out this journey, it was definitely because I felt like I had something to say, something worth hearing. And that is still the truth. But it's changed slightly. Because before, when I started this journey of self-discovery, it was more when I was helping people, actually what I was doing, it was validating something within me that I was needed. But since I've been healing, and especially with my belief coding and changing the beliefs subconsciously, that need to help people has changed. It's still there. Still want to help people, but it's changed, not in a way of teaching. It's coming from a place of more wholeness, of this is the path I've walked. This is my story. This is how I show up. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, sort of thing. And I think that's where I kind of sound like some sort of psychic or tarot card reader at one point now on Instagram. But my voice has changed and the message is always still there. It's just now slightly different. And I'm sitting here now recording this, not knowing who's going to listen. You could be anywhere in the world right now, and I won't know what's pulled you towards listening, what caption it was that caught your eye, what you searched that made my podcast come up. Or it might just be that you know me and you enjoy listening. Or you know me and you've came for a nose to see what the podcast is all about. And either way, do you know what? I want to thank you for being here, because every person that listens to it is given up their time to listen to me talk. And I'm very grateful for that, because our time and our energy is precious. It's expensive. So I want to chat about what I've experienced when I've been healing while dating. I put a post up on my Instagram last week, and it was, people ask me why I'm single a lot. Let me explain. And that post that I put up was one of the most honest things I feel like I've done. because it wasn't about teaching. It wasn't about me trying to portray a message. It was something real and raw for me. And I've learned that about myself, that vulnerability doesn't need to be scary. And dating while healing has kind of given me that. I've used dating these last maybe year and a half that I've went on Tinder. I've just had some dates with people that I know. And I used it as a information source. Not because I was dying to find love. To start with, there was something there validating. You're looking for that validation. But with every interaction, every date, every disappointment, every ick, I learned something new about myself. I learned what I would tolerate. I learned what I liked about a person. What I liked, how I felt in a moment. But I also found out what I don't like. Found out what I don't tolerate. And I would say that this has dramatically changed as well over the last year and a half, because when I think back to a year and a half ago to a guy that I dated, would I date him now? Didn't take him because he wasn't a bad guy, he just lived far away actually, that was all. Would I have clicked on him on Tinder today? Would I have set up a date? And the answer's no. And it's because my standard's now different. Because I've got this happiness within me. I've found this contentment in life. I've found this joy for life that no man will fill. But what I will say is I am no longer fearful, ashamed to say, do you know what, I do want connection. Of course I do. We're humans. We're built for it. We're wired for connection. I don't want to be alone. But that does not mean that I will now put up with breadcrumbs, confusion, just because I'm getting a bit of attention. And actually I'm going to tell you a story about one of the very first dates that I had when I started dating. This is a good one. And actually I would say it kind of, I learned a lot about myself. A lot. But so met on Tinder, and I had only went on Tinder for 4 days, by the way, and then I muted my profile because I was like, I don't know if this is for me. So anyway, about 5 days later, I got a message pop up from this guy, and we were chatting, and this was on the Saturday, chatted into the Sunday. At the end of this, you're going to actually think, wow, how spontaneous, or wow, Laura, you're nuts. Either or, you can judge for that one, okay? Chatting, great chat. So anyway, Sunday night, FaceTimes me. We were FaceTime for about 4 hours. But do you know that way where there was no sleazy, there was no dirtiness, there was no flight. It was just, you ever just had good chat, really good chat, that way where you're crying with laughter? It was that. So anyway, I was going down to Peterborough on the Monday because I was actually going on a podcasting course to learn how to record a podcast. And he lived in Edinburgh. So I says, I could get the earlier train if you want, and we could just meet for a glass of wine before I go and get on the train. And he said, that's perfect because I'm actually off my work today. So we done that. We met at the top of Waverley Station and we had a glass of wine. I think he had a Guinness. And then he rocks out with 2 tequilas. Anyone that knows me, tequila, I love it, but I can only have one. So anyway, still had time. So I was like, no, I'll have another glass of wine. And he said to me, Laura, don't go. didn't go to Peterborough, just stay here. Like, we were having such a good laugh. Do you know what we were? We're just giggling. We met this mother and son from Pennsylvania, I think it was. They were over speaking to us, and they were like, oh my God, can't believe it's a first date, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, well, a first date, like, it's hardly a date. It's like meeting for an hour. And I said, when he said to me, don't go, I said, why don't you just come in me then? Obviously remembering I've had 2 wines and a tequila. And he's like, right then. No, I went, are you joking? He's like, nah, why no? Why no? So here he gets the train app up. £170 later, he's booked on the Peterborough return train. Remembering I'm going to a course the next day. So here we go. We've got 20 minutes to go and get on the train. Running down. And we got on the train. 5 hours later, great laugh. We had to move seats. He never had a seat booked. Dad had. And that night we got to the hotel and we're honestly like speaking to people. He's very much quite like me, like just chatting away to people. So we made pals. And got up the next morning and was like, oh no, sorry, I'd actually then messaged the person with the course and I was like, look, I was allowed to bring a +1. So they'd asked me his name. So when we went, I wasn't too sure what to expect. Got up in the morning, had breakfast in the hotel. And it was just like we'd known each other forever. So went to the course and he had his own name badge. So he sat in this course all day, by the way. And he sat with my iPad taking all the notes for me. We had a good laugh. We got some free lunch. And I was standing outside with him. And I said, you know, we've been pretty lucky, eh? Because we could have came down here and could have hated each other. And you've just had to sit for 6 hours in a room with another 30 people talking about podcasting. And he's like, I know, Laura. Like, we got pretty lucky. And that way where you're just laughing, like one of the moments where you know you're with your friend and if something serious is going on you can't look at them because you know it's going to make you laugh. That was what it was like. It was just that instant with such a great laugh. So we came home and the following weekend we had another date and again went great. We went through Edinburgh, we went to play pool. And that way where I was like, oh my God, like this is actually really easy. And then he ghosted me. Yep. And that was the first time I've ever had that. And 2, it taught me a lot. The mental resilience of not chasing a man, FYI, was I did not do that. I just allowed, I think I maybe sent him one message say like this been weird and then just never heard anything. And I left it because why would I chase somebody who couldn't give me an explanation? And that's been trying to sit with that without having any closure. That took me a while, a long time to be able to be okay with that. It took me a long time to be able to say, do you know what, actually, I'm good. But the questions were still there, like, what happened? The growth I've seen, so back then when that happened, a year and a half ago, that was all centred around, what did I do wrong? Should I have said something different? Could I have done something different? Whereas now, it's through a different lens. It was obviously something that he was going through. Like, we had a great time. I didn't imagine that. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with me. It didn't mean that there was any badness in it. Sometimes people just don't have the capacity to show up for you. Sometimes people don't have the capacity to explain sometimes it's easier just to run and not say anything than to face somebody and tell them that they can't explain maybe if the feelings were too much, if it's too fast, or it was whatever it was. That story, it doesn't matter to me anymore, because what I know is I had a great couple of weekends. I laughed like I've never laughed before. So not only did it help me build that trust and love up within myself to not chase a man or look for that validation or that closure from outside of me, what else he gave me was a standard. And not the standard of ghosting, FYI. He gave me the standard of, I am not going to settle for anybody that does not make me laugh like that, because life is too short. So it got me thinking, I'm like, I'm going to write a list. Like, what are the things? And when I've been dating, I started dating after that. I thought, do you know what? I'm utilising dating as this, let's figure out what I like. Let's figure out what I don't like. So, did I love the ghosting? No. So, or we know that that's on the bad side. Did I love how much I was uncontrollably laughing? Did I love how unbothered he was? He had egg down his top. Was I attracted to his confidence? Yes. So that's on the list. And every day I've been on, I've learned something new, something that I don't like, something that I do like. And now I almost instinctively know if they're right for me or not. I went on a date about 5 months ago. This was the last date I was on. No more dates. I'm just putting that out there. The universe will drop Prince Charming at my front door, for all I know, because there is no apps, there is no anything. So I am so happy and content now. But anyway, I went on a date. It was 5 months ago. That was it. After that, Tinder and that was just axed. And the reason that I deleted it actually wasn't really because of this date, but I was just fed up of the energy that it was wasting. The scrolling, that takes up time. It's almost like another social media platform. Somebody messages you in the morning, hey, how's you? No. See, when I get a hey, how's you? And I think it's because I'm quite good at being able to have like banter over messages. And not everybody can do that, and that's fine. There's going to be some things that people can do better than me as well. But you're only as good as your match. So you can't know somebody over texting. Ideally for me, I know that I need to meet them. So I met this guy, and there'd been a couple of red flags. I'd noted them, and actually it was the day before the date, and I thought to myself, I'd actually thought about cancelling it. And it was the way where he liked to keep on trying to correct me. He kept on trying to like put me down. It was like he liked to try and belittle me. And I could see it like right away. It was like he needed to feel inferior to me. And after the date, I remember I never heard from him, and I was like, yes, the one time that you weren't ghosted. And then he messaged me, and I was like, listen, I think it was definitely just friends vibes. And he messaged back saying, well, I wasn't going to just like kiss you like in the middle of Starbucks car park. So it was like he got the impression that it was because he didn't kiss me that I thought it was friends vibes. And I'm like, no, bud. I just wasn't want to kiss you full stop, because no. It was just, and it was there, but old. And then again, I reflected. Old Laura maybe would have seen that and be like, oh, it's all right. Like maybe he's had a bad previous relationship and that, because obviously I did hear about that. That's another red flag if they're telling you how shite their ex is within a day run. I'm telling you, I could see it all. But instead of brushing it under the carpet, I knew there and then. I was like, nope, because now I'm so aware and my standards higher. I'm so content that I'm not looking attention doesn't validate me anymore. Attention doesn't make me feel good, because actually, and I've said this to guys before, and I think they think I'm quite big-headed, but do you know what? I actually don't care. You messaging me, hey, beautiful, in the morning doesn't even come close to how good I speak to myself in that fucking mirror in the morning. So unless you're actually going to bring some peace, excitement, laughter and consistency to my life, you can step the fuck aside. And that's the whole game, isn't it? It's learning what you're going to put up with. It's actually seeing the red flag right away and saying, nope, not for me. And I realised in that moment, how much I had grown. Because old Laura would have people pleased, would have felt sorry. Oh God, he's asked for another date. Well, I'll maybe just go, don't want to hurt his feelings. But actually, whose feelings is the one that I'm putting down? It's mine. So no, I don't shut my own feelings down. My feelings come first. And when we see the red flags, we don't think, I can fix him. Girls, if you're listening and you're on any healing journey and you are saying, do you know what, I can make him love me, chances are you probably can't. If he is already running, let him run. Do you know what's the great saying? When the flowers in the garden, the bees come to the flower. The flowers don't chase the bees. If you grow that beautiful garden, the bees will come. But if you chase, or is it you chase the bee, they'll fly away. But if you grow a beautiful garden, the bees will come to you. So yes, I've used dating as information for what I want in a future long-term partner. But the biggest thing, the biggest relationship that I've found is the one with myself. The one where I respect me. I listen to my gut. I listen to that intuition. I listen to what I know is right and what is wrong. I know if they are for me or if they're not. I know when I'll give a chance and when I won't. And I'll know when it's time to just let things go. Because I've built up that trust with myself. I now love my own company. That doesn't mean to say that I don't get lonely. But that doesn't mean to say that I'm going to then just go and place myself in a company that is going to drain my energy because of loneliness. Because I would rather be lonely, content and whole than have loads of attention and be confused and wondering why somebody's dusty son has not texted me back. Because I'm telling you right now, it is not the one. I'm done healing other men's wounds. I am done having to... I can see through all the bullshit. I can see it. And before, Laura would have been like, I can fix him. I can see why he's done that. Oh my God, his mum was like that. Or his dad was like that. Oh, this has happened. That's why he's like that. Do you know what I say now? That's great. That's a shame that happened to you. That's for you to deal with. If you want to be healed, you want to work on that shit, that is great. But I'm not working on it for you. I'm not going to run if I was with somebody who wanted to work on their stuff. Actually, that's the most empowering thing you can do, is falling in love with somebody while they're healing. Well, you can both show up for each other. But I'm not here looking at somebody thinking, oh, I can fix them. I can show them, you know, what they're needing to heal, and I can help them, because nobody can do it but them. And it's only up to them if they want to become better, if they want to stop with the patterns, whatever that may be. Because when you've built up, well, for me, when I've built up this relationship myself, there is no way that anything is ever going to come between that. Nothing. There is nothing that can stop me from now putting my peace and my happiness first. And I've always had this baseline. I've got 2 kids, and I've always said that no man will get introduced to their kids until I know that it's kind of long term. But the main standard for me is seeing how he treats me. Because if somebody gets introduced to my kids, they need to treat me really well. Because that's what they boys will see, the standards that men treat women. So if he is coming in and he is not treating me correctly, then it's not the one. And you might be sitting listening to this saying, yeah, but Laura, you need to be willing to step up. You need to be willing to put in the effort. And that is the thing. I know what I bring to the table. I know the love that I've got. I know the love I've got to give somebody. I know how I show up. So if you can't match that and add to my already amazing life, then it's not the one. And I will sleep just fine. Oh, anyway, guys, this is actually, I think, been maybe one of the most honest, raw, best podcasts I feel like I've ever recorded. And it's now 11:15. And yeah, I am going to say a beautiful good night to whoever is on any healing journey while dating, or has just split up and is now single, or is just scrolling through Tinder right now after this podcast. Treat it like an experiment. Treat everyone like an interview, like you're learning more about you. Because when you treat it as, I want to learn more about myself, you stop putting all the importance on the other person and you start asking, are they good enough for me? How do they make me feel? Do I like the way I feel around them? Is this something that I want long term, or do I feel like I would be settling? See, when you start asking the questions, the red flags, one, you see them early enough, and two, they are not appealing anymore. That excitement that you used to feel, you didn't want that anymore, because the excitement actually wasn't butterflies and excitement. It was your nervous system firing on all bloody cylinders because the danger was there. So look out for the red flags. And instead of trying to think, I'm going to turn them green, focus on yourself. Ask yourself the questions and know that you deserve a love of a lifetime, a love that you are adored, because you know that you can give it back. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, today has already been an amazing day.